What up, Challenge fans? We are Final Alliance Podcast. Just finished watching episode 13, Titanic. Oh, it was so good. I loved it so much. Jay, will your heart go on?
Yes, my heart will go on. And speaking of that, that feels like if we're going to use a movie reference, I feel like this was a Back to the Future type of thing. Because we got to see the veterans really go back to who they are in the end. And some of the alliances are kind of crumbling and they act again like so shocked about things when the whole time like, huh? Have you not been on this challenge before? Do you not know these people? So, Like I said, if we're taking movie references, that would be it. But Titanic, yeah, good title, I guess. Could have been titled something. Could have been titled something else. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm going right into who I think won again, and no surprise, it was Amanda. She killed this episode. She is becoming, dare I say, one of my favorites.
No,
I don't know. I'm just so happy she's there. She's really adding a lot. I think, it started this episode where, she had just joined Team Ruby,
Yeah.
Loves the color, hates the team.
Great line.
And I know. She's so witty, that one. And Logan and Kyle are talking about her and how she's really not that good of a player. She's good at puzzles. Nellie in an interview calls her toxic, and she straight up says, all right, you think I'm weak?
Yeah.
I'll show you weak.
I think what they're talking about her, the vibe that she gets from them, even during the challenge, she kind of knows the way she feels about them. It's a strong stance to take, considering it's a male week.
Right. They were not thinking. At all.
It was more of a team type of challenge, but you don't really do that when someone can throw it. And she will go on to say, like, they told me not to do anything.
Right. For sure. That team just lacks leadership for sure. It was so easy for her to be like, you didn't tell me to do anything. Yeah. It was true.
She was good. Comedic value, she was good.
Oh, my God. The Titanic.
The unintentional comedy of the Titanic there, that's unintentional. But she's like, I have nothing to do. Like, I'm trying to do it. Again, even her one-on-ones made sense, and you could see it where you're like, yeah, I wouldn't do anything either if I'm not wanting to be on that team.
Right.
And right away, I said to you, I go, this makes zero sense, like I said, because it's a male challenge. The only thing I'm thinking right away is foreshadowing, it's going to be a male and female elimination if she loses. Because it's just not smart to do that when it is your week. All right? And so I think we're kind of seeing some of that for next week as well. I want to agree with you. In the end, I'm going with Logan.
I mean,
a lot of camera time.
Lots of camera time. That is a fair choice. I mean, I get it. Obviously, he won the elimination.
Coming from my shop. And really, it got me at the end when he said, I said I was Ruby till I die, Ruby till I'm dead. And he said, but when one of your own teammates goes after you, all bets are off. He's 100% correct.
Yes.
Nellie's in the wrong to be like, I guess there is no teammates. It's, all the packs and the bonds are gone, spy allies and allies, and I don't have any allies. I only have spies. He's 100% correct. Yes. There's no reason Corey should have gone after his team. Mm-hmm. So, and Logan wins, and he does pretty convincingly. And
God, it made me so sad.
I go with Logan, and at this point,
I think you're right.
It could be a stalemate to which way it is, because I can't argue against Amanda. Mm-hmm. I just think Logan came really strong.
But if you think about like who put up the big numbers, he won the elimination. So I do get that. But Amanda stole the show. She stole the show. It was incredible
from start to finish. I would agree with that.
It was.
But
incredible.
In the end, the lasting thing I'm going to remember is that he did what I wanted him to do. How's that? Not really to go to Sapphire.
Yeah.
But if him and Josh are so close, why not take out Emmanuel? Why not go to Emerald is the thing. Maybe that's why Amanda should get it, because he did something that was the right thing to do, but he didn't do the right decision to the team he went to.
Right.
And if that's a thing where I don't think he has that strategy unless Josh already had it. Like, well, if you're on another team, kind of like the Nelly and Corey.
Josh already had it.
And Josh doesn't have strategy. Sorry. But like, kind of like when Corey and Nelly, we knew they talked earlier, like, why don't we go on different teams and then we can work? And maybe he's thinking, as long as we're still protecting each other,
True.
Josh and I. But it's going to happen eventually. They can't. Emerald really got lucky here in this situation. But
They got so lucky.
start to finish, it's Amanda. Maybe Logan does take a step back because he picked the wrong team. That's all.
Well, and there was something else with Logan that was. Well, I mean, it was cute how he said he doesn't really care about winning. He just wants to buy a surfboard.
Yeah, yeah.
And I find his interviews to be very entertaining, sometimes confusing. He's got a great head of hair on him. Mm-hmm. Could do Pantene ads or whatever.
He doesn't really care for the English, and it loses some things, whatever else translation to him, but he can get attitude tattooed on him in English.
Right, I did see attitude on his arm. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
What I will say about him that I kind of thought about tonight, he's kind of flying under the radar, but he's had 2 people already save him from voting him in.
That's a big
Ed
deal.
and Josh, and those people have just met him, and they're all like, "Oh, he's my good friend.
Oh, yeah.
I am loyal to him over people that they've known for years." I mean, obviously Ed, was new, but with the situation today with Josh, like, what the heck?
Yeah. There's still, you have Emmanuel, and he's got his relationship with Tori, and Ashley will talk about that. And if you can always drop in a politicking reference, good for you. And it was a perfect timing. I mean, it came perfect timing. You knew it was coming, and you're just like waiting for it, and you're like, come on, use the reference. She does, and you're like, good job. Mm-hmm. Timing was great. So Emmanuel's got that relationship. And then Logan's there new. Big T still kind of new. I'm yet to give Casey too much of a... I'm sorry, I don't really give him that.
I think Big T and Casey have been around about the same amount of time.
She speaks about it, but when Tori starts talking about like how hard it is now, and because we all have such strong alliances.
Nani is talking about
Nani. Oh, well, good. That was her one. How did I forget her one time talking? Because she has to talk about something that's nonsense. Her Naniisms. And that's all I'm thinking about. I started doing the thing in the math that we've talked about, like, okay, challenge this day, lair, blah, 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 day off. And I was like, they're roughly at 6 weeks maybe, because this is like episode 12, I think.
This is episode 13.
So they're roughly at 6 weeks.
Yeah, so 2 episodes a week. Yeah.
I get that you feel like, because you've lived in the compound mansion with these people, that you're like, I'm really close to them. But realistically, you don't know them that well. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so when Nani's saying that, I'm like, all right, whatever. We're such good. There's such strong bonds here and there, and like, are they?
Some of the people that have been doing it for years, yes. I mean, like Nellie and Corey, absolutely.
Nellie and Corey,
Ashley and Amanda, absolutely.
Ashley and Amanda. That's it.
Those are the 2 that are sticking out.
That is it. I mean, that I'm sorry. That's it. CT is CT. I mean, he gets along with everybody, but he also knows at any moment they're going to throw him in, and he might have to go against them. And we've already referenced it. Bananas, like, he's the quiet one that just gets all the information and moves on. Tori doesn't really have anyone. That's why she's off, always running around making out with somebody or doing whatever else. And so it's really those 2. They just happen to be on a show for 2 months out of their lives.
Right.
Out of their year. I shouldn't lie. Yeah.
Although with, they've referenced this on like Big Brother and things like, remember Swaggy and Bailey, they got engaged after Big Brother, because they're like, the amount of time we spent together is more than you would normal dating, because it was 24 hours a day. So, I mean, I do imagine there is that bond. But again, Josh seems a little early to be picking Logan over Corey, who you've known for years.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But Josh doesn't make any sense. He never has. Not from Big Brother, not to his time on the challenge. He makes 0 sense. He will justify it because he thinks it's true. And if someone doesn't believe him, then he gets even more upset. Like, how do you not see it my way? If Josh isn't an only child, I will be shocked. So it's one of those things.
I know. We got to look that up. Yeah. I got to figure that one out.
Because that's what, and even when he's arguing with Corey or anybody, it's always like, if you don't want to talk to me, it's civilized. But see, when he usually gets arguments when he's not getting his way, then he raises his voice, he gets into fights, he gets physical.
And Corey was trying to say that. Yeah. He's like, look, you're the reason why Fessy is gone. He's your like bestie. Now you're putting me in, and he wasn't hearing anything. He just, and I looked at you and I was like, he's not even listening to him. I was getting so frustrated because I feel like this happened a couple times in this episode, twice with Corey and then once with Amanda. These people trying to have conversations with someone who does not want to have a conversation. Like, it's just, I don't care for that. Like, no, if you want to talk to me, you come over. I don't want to. That's why, like, I'm not over here. But then they keep calling him over. You know what I mean? With Corey and then with Amanda at the, when they had their little team meeting at the party.
Oh, that was just ridiculous, too. These team meetings.
It's like when someone says, like, I think I deserve an apology.
Yeah.
To someone. It's like, I get feeling that maybe you need an apology from someone, but asking for it is almost never going to get a genuine.
Never.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I felt like with these conversations with Corey and Devin and Corey and Josh and then Amanda with the party, their group, their team.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about those conversations that they have because
sure.
We'll get to Nellie and everything too.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah. So
okay. So no surprise, our girl Amanda, for whatever reason, her team doesn't think that she does anything. Then there's this debate. She's like, "You didn't tell me. You told me to like just stand there. Like, no one gave me any direction." And that is something that I wrote and just capital letters. I wrote their team was lacking leadership.
Yeah,
there was no one like really taking charge in that situation.
In 2 episodes, we saw Corey like running him through a boot camp or whatever else. Yeah.
And so then when they're at the the bar party, they want her to come over and talk to their team.
She was great in this scene.
Oh, she was amazing because Nellie was kind of coming at her.
She sat down in the group meeting and then she was just like, wait, you, and then she says, she's trying to explain to them, they're talking over, but then her confessional is like, no. You were losing before I came on the team.
Right.
You're not blaming this on me. You were losing before I got here. And she's trying to tell them at their dumb little meeting, and they're just kind of like, you didn't work your hardest. And she's like, I did what you told me to do.
Right.
I asked you what to do. You just said nothing. She's like, so, yeah, I get it. Maybe it looks bad that she's doing the Titanic, but not really. I mean, she's standing there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and he's like, well, you're smart. So I guess he wanted her to dunk her head and then come up and be like, wait till everyone else knows when to come up and then give them directions. But that's hard to do.
That's hard communicating with that situation.
Yeah.
For sure.
But she told him, she's like, I'm done. I'm gonna throw anything after this. Like, I don't want to be part of your team. And I thought she was good at the party, and I thought she was good in the confessional on that.
Absolutely. Well, and like, I mean, finding out that it was close between the two teams, if I were Corey, I might have been frustrated. But again, it's a team.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just one person that lost it. It wasn't like she was trying to make them lose. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. She wasn't like...
So...
It's not like she was diving down there, tugging the rope, like when Ashley's yelling at Kyle, saying, like, you're pulling the rope the wrong way, you're tightening it. It's not like she was diving down there and, like, purposely, like, yanking the knot tighter. She just did what she was told to do, basically.
Right.
And I guess we're defending her without really being there for every conversation.
Well, of course.
Because the strategy, we weren't there. They never gave us the camera of being like, here's what our strategy is. I mean,
right, because they told us what Emerald's strategy was, which was, the two guys to go under and find the ends, and, it's further than we thought, and...
Yeah, that Emerald team,
we're deeper down. It's 8 to 10
them.
feet. My ears are popping.
I thought for sure they were going to lose that one, and then they were going to blame the carabiner thing, snap, and be like,
Oh,
"It's not fair, TJ. Not fair that ours broke and theirs didn't." Like, that would have been. I would have, rolled my eyes so hard I would have got a chiropractor tomorrow. So, yeah, I wanted to lose also. So, I've had it with them. I really have. Mm-hmm. Their team is
We both needed to drink to that.
Their team is just... Tori, I love my team. Everyone's like, I love my team. Yeah, guys, come on. You've seen this game. You're going to split or Ruby and Sapphire are going to get married.
Yeah.
What is
I think
the
there
gem?
is something to be said about
What
that.
is the gem color for purple? I don't...
Amethyst.
There we go. Well, guess what? Team Amethyst is coming real soon.
Isn't your birthday in February?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm February. You're
Okay.
January.
Yeah.
It's Amethyst.
Okay, well, Team Amethyst is coming real soon because they're gonna marry those two teams and then they're going against Emerald. It's happening. There's no doubt about that. So
I'm coming around on that idea. Well, and this is another challenge where they didn't sit people out. Emerald has 6 people, and then I think Sapphire has 4, and then Ruby had 5.
Yep, that's right.
Why are they doing this?
6 should have been a disadvantage in this challenge. Too many hands, too many heads in this situation.
Maybe, but then, the rope was really heavy, TJ said.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like things to be a little more even, Steven. That's just my opinion.
Well, and that's the situation. The answer to that is, well, if you don't like it, win. And then even it out yourself. Or guess what? You get it if you don't like it and you lose, you can still infiltrate that team. That's where it all works out. Being like, you don't like the way the game's played, then you throw yourself in the lair, you win, and you go to Emerald then, and then now you're on the team that has the most numbers.
Yeah, okay.
All of a sudden, the teacher just turned into the student, like, well, all right, whatever.
I don't have to like it.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. That's the answer to that. But I thought it was more of a disadvantage to have 6 in that. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what you said in the beginning, and I'm like, okay, this could be a good thing. This could be a good thing. I like Nani as a person. Didn't look like she did a whole lot.
No.
There's a lot of spitting out water, up and down.
What did producer Klinger say to us?
Oh my God! So somebody tweeted.
So they said, Amanda, you gave us 0% effort today, and somebody tweeted, Amanda gave 0% effort. Nani gave 100% effort. It was the exact same thing. And it was. But we also saw that. What would you rather have? Would you rather have Amanda standing there posing, keeping things lighthearted, staying out of the way? Or would you rather have Emmy kicking her legs around, wading in the water, staring at rope when you're trying to swim around
tangling herself.
And she's kicking her feet around, wading? Like, actually, Amanda did the right thing in that.
Right. She's like, yeah, I don't want to be in the way.
I'll hold the rope. You bring it up to me, I'll hold the rope. She stood on top of it. So,
yeah, and I mean, she did help, like, bring it in from the water, obviously. We did see that.
Emerald loses that game, by the way. Emerald loses that challenge. Nani is in the position that Amanda is, that you didn't do anything. Emmy is in the position that Amanda was in if Sapphire doesn't win that.
Yep.
If Sapphire becomes, whatever. That's the way it works. There was a weakest link on each team. It's just real easy to do, and you can cut it however else, but Nani would have been the one picked in Emerald.
Always. Always.
Yeah. And then there would have been problems, which that's what the show needed. But yeah.
Right. I loved so hard that finally someone said what I needed to hear, and that was that Emmy sucked.
Yeah.
And that CT was kind of like happy she's on my team, but she's not really doing anything. And he got really frustrated and like took a deep breath. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get this overwhelming support for her. I just don't get it. So I'm so grateful that finally someone is seeing it, because I'm tired of saying it every week. Like, what is happening?
Not a fan of hers. I don't know how she could even come back. I honestly, I don't care if she's made it this far. I just don't know why or how you could think that this is good television and she needs to be back. Oh God,
she's so annoying. Well, and then on the after show last week, like Tori was there and Nani was there, Darrell was there, and they're all giving her the lip service, about how great she is. And then Darrell says, look, like, if it was you and Michaela, because I guess they're friends, in elimination, she would have, like, tore you up. And Emmy did not like that. And she like, said something back to Darrell, like, do you know who you're talking to? Like, that's how I felt. I was like, do you know who you're talking to? Because, like, how dare you disrespect Darrell? Like, I can feel my blood pumping, like, just even thinking about it. And he was like, don't need to know you either. And it was incredible.
Perfect.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was, I could only watch a little bit of it because my husband was watching with me, and it was, the after shows aren't always, sometimes it's a little drama-y and just people yelling and things like that. So, but I did see that part, and thank you, Darrell. Thank you so much.
For saying
he
it.
always says, he's like the moral compass, just in general, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he knows, he's got his, finger on the pulse. Always, it seems.
So what else were the conversations that the people were not seeing eye to eye?
Tonight?
Yeah. When we got into the conversation about the Amanda and the fight or whatever else. But because, I mean...
Well, we see Corey talking to, it looks like just Nelly, like, after he gets voted in. And, like, it looks like Nelly kind of wants to talk about it. And Corey's, like, walking away. And he's like, look, like, I'm going to go in. I'm going to win. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to change things up. And then we see that Devin's there, too. And Devin's like, no, I want to talk. Let's just not yell around the house or whatever.
Well, let's go back to the, what is it called? The chamber. Okay?
Go to the chamber.
So all the guys are talking. CT's kind of like, listen, I'd like to, throw the old man a bone. Don't put him in.
Oh, and I liked his hair.
And then Ashley's like, I'll be honest, CT, you don't want to go in. You're scared to go in. Come on, Ashley. Like, it's CT.
Scared to go in? No, but nobody wants to go
smart.
in.
Yeah, he's being smart. Logan says, we've already brought it up, Sapphire till I die. I'm staying here. And CT says, I'm staying here. I'm still, if I go in, I come back, I'm staying Sapphire. Nelly, same thing. I'm staying Ruby. Corey kind of says the same thing, doesn't say too much.
He says, I won't beg, which I appreciate.
Yes,
He's like, I'm not going to beg.
Yeah.
And
he had already been
stay
told,
ready.
He had a conversation at the party by Josh. Josh's like, I'm not going to say your name or anything like that. And like, and then Kyle says the right thing. I don't get that. If Emerald is so worried about being infiltrated, the right thing to do is say, if I go in and win, I'm coming to Emerald. That is the right thing to do. Because then
and everybody's up for grabs as far as
and then
me going against.
Whoa, wait, we don't want this. They want the guys that are going to say they're loyal or anything like that. So I guess their thought process when they put Corey in was that he's going to go back to be with Nelly. They don't really go too much into it. They had like 2 meetings. They had a meeting at the party. They had a meeting on the grass.
Yeah.
So tired of his meeting. So tired of Josh sticking up for Logan. And you knew he was going to. He had 2 weeks in a row. So Devin does say, and going back to how you brought that up, when Nelly is kind of upset that he went in, Corey's the one that said, it doesn't matter. It's over.
Right.
And Devin's like, well, do you want to talk about it? And he's like, what's the point of talking about it? And he's like, I didn't vote you in. So he says to Nelly, I didn't vote him in. 2 weeks I tried to put it in.
Right.
Josh is the one doing it. And that's when we go upstairs.
Which, how is Josh the one in charge, it seems?
Because
he
just keeps pushing. He talks
relentless.
over people, over him. And Devin right now is
has
kind of
no
like,
relent.
Devin's like, he's seen it before. He's just going to play the game. And by the way, it's easy to throw him under the bus.
Josh?
Just be like, well, he did it. Because, once... I think it was in Banana's podcast. Once you say someone's name,
it's easy.
You can always be like, he said your name. They said your name first, and then they can't take it back.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know, it's just easy to follow that lead. And I don't know why Logan is protected or anything like that. But But
I mean, I know that they communicate. They have that common ground of speaking in Spanish, and I thought that was a nice exchange.
That was nice. I thought that was. And I think what we're learning about the other cultures so much because you have the thing with Emmanuel, too.
Oh, my God. Manny. So you got CT, Manny, Devin, they're cooking. They're making meatballs and stuff. And he's slapping some skirt steak or whatever. And he says something about in Romania, they kill a
Christmas.
pig.
Yeah, they slaughter a pig.
And then they the kids jump on it.
Sit on the carcass
and
take pictures.
And which... I started to be offended by that for a second, and then I was like, one, it's another person's culture. Everybody does things different. That might look different. Depending on where you're from or whatever. But also how many Midwest people do we know that hunt and take a picture with?
Sure, none of that bothered me.
You know what I mean?
It's just more.
But
fun.
it was the way that they it was almost I think that I was supposed to be what is that? But then when I thought about it, I'm like, oh, whatever.
I don't think it really fazed me. I was too busy watching the nonverbal of CT and seeing what Devin was going to say.
And being like, that's really weird.
Yeah, that's about what I would do too. So I think that's a good thing. The time with Logan because you got Logan. I mean, it was great. How about that? A breath of fresh air instead of saying I'm doing this for my grandma, for my family. He's like, I'm not really here for the money. I like to compete. I like to win. I'd like a surfboard.
Right.
And we both laughed. We're like, this is great because it's not oh, now we have to cut back to his home and family and everything else. He's like,
right.
He's like, I like to compete. And we all, in the end, really challenge fans are either there for the drama or they're competitors or they're people who like the drama and competitors like us. So, and that's what the good mixture of the show is. So
absolutely.
I like that he did that. And I oddly enough, you know it, we've said it, Corey, we talk about family, but in this situation, this is what you have a classic heel turn, heel to face. Corey looked like the good guy in this episode.
Corey okay, I've been thinking about this because a couple weeks ago we were talking about Corey and I was like, I don't know. And it's I actually was rewatching another season. I've been doing Dirty 30. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I've always kind of liked him. He's always been a nice guy. Sometimes, with the hookups and stuff, whatever, back in the day. But he's always been pretty much a nice guy for the most part, and I've really liked seeing him mature this season a lot. And he's a good competitor. And he says a lot of good things. But yes, absolutely, he was the hero. They were painting him as the hero this week and last week for sure. To the point where, how much was I chanting and talking during the elimination.
Oh, we both
I
were
just,
pulling
I could
for him.
not.
Yeah.
I could not. And I was like, oh, no. You know, when he was like, how many times did he like fall and get up? It was impressive.
He came off really well in this episode. I did find myself rooting for him. I wanted him to come back. I liked exactly what he was saying. I'm going to go to Emerald. I'm going to throw the competition. He's being smart, and I'm going after one of you guys. That's all I really wanted, because you want to see that. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. I still think he made a mistake with Logan. I think he should have gone Kyle. I don't know how you didn't see that coming. At first, I saw those big spheres, those balls, and I thought something about that. And right away, I thought Kyle. Then I thought they were just props off to the side. And then, then they had the challenge of
when I first saw him, I'm like, are they going to go inside?
I thought they were going to go inside. And
one of those things. Yeah.
So that's what I thought. But
but then also with, how Logan had the hamstring injury. I'm like, okay, all right, maybe, his balance is going to be off or whatever. It just proved that it seemed like Corey's strategy of just continuing to do the circle for the most part just wasn't really working.
Yeah. And that situation of I'm going to let himself tire him out is actually the same strategy that the other person is using.
Right.
No matter what. And so then Logan does the right thing there. That is a matter of tying out. Again, a push-pull that we talked about 2 weeks ago. You're tugging so hard, and eventually you're going to do it like 7 times, and you're going to just kind of let up, and that's when he's going to yank back. You got to strike, and he goes, and that's what I liked about Logan.
See, and I'd missed the part where it was best of 3. I thought it was of 1, and so when Corey went down first, I was like, oh no. And then we see the scoreboard go up, and I'm like, okay, wait, we've got time, okay. And I'm like, I yelled at the screen and you, and I was like, get out of your head. You got this. Like, it's not over. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out. And, oh, God, Corey, I love you so much, like, lately.
Yeah.
And when they're both kind of waiting and kind of catching their breath, and he takes his arm off of the rope. And it's like, dude, you're not in a truce.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a timeout. Like, I just,
That was a mental lapse.
Yeah. Ugh. It was just too bad.
The only thing, I'm sorry, you really liked his goodbye and Nelly T, and I did not buy that one bit. So,
well, okay,
it's his time. Go win. Do it for your mom. Blah blah blah. And like, it didn't do it for me.
I've watched a lot about shows like this. They asked him that. They were buttering him up and getting him emotional about it. Like, it wasn't like I don't think that he just immediately was just like, Nelly, wah, 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 love you. I don't think, I think he was probably doing his, I tried my best, like the interview, athlete interview thing. And then they were like, oh man, like your boy is going to be here by himself. Like, what do you think? Yeah, they were, come on. I mean, he
hugged him and said, I can't take bullets for you anymore. What kind of goodbye is that to your friend? Like, I've been deflecting things for you this entire season. That was his goodbye message in the hug. And then he says,
he says, you're going to win.
Yeah, then you're going to do well. And Nelly says, kiss those babies for me. And I will. I miss them a lot. But he does say, I can't take bullets for you anymore. It's basically like, you're on your own. Figure out your game. And Nelson's game.
Nelly's so alone now.
But what's Nelson's game? You wrote it down. We laughed because finally it happened. His game is to yell at females and turn around and go,
sorry about that.
Oh, baby. I didn't mean it. I just want to apologize in front of everybody who saw that maybe I came foul.
Always in the deliberation.
It was about time. I'm sure we have it on our over-under. It was about time. And we're just like, unbelievable.
Oh, my God. We were like
It
snorting.
wasn't even at his worst. He apologized to Big T. And I was like,
I didn't even know Big T. Yeah.
Is it just like in general, I'm misogynistic or I'm sexist? So just since you're on my team, I'm just going to blanket out to you too?
Sorry, ladies.
Yeah. Be like, it won't happen again. Psst, it's going to happen again. Like, but I mean, that's what we see out of Nelly. So,
by the way, apparently Big T likes donuts.
I didn't think that was a big deal either. Like breakfast or dinner for losers or something like that. Food for losers.
Breakfast of losers.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the beat, but it was like it was playful.
She had watermelon with her too. I
Yeah.
think she had other fruit.
I didn't take it anyway.
No.
Like, I don't think she was offended by it, but it was funny. Like, Corey hit her hand. And she had the donut.
That's his leadership or whatever else knocks it out of there. And she's like, I like how that she just picked up the other one and just ate it. It didn't even phase her. She's like, all right.
And I mean, yeah, like realistically, I have a donut. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, not at all.
We've bounced around a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what's fun about it. Yeah.
Oh, I have an idea for this of a name for the bar place. The Party Pod.
Okay. Yeah, because it is in small area. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I like
the
that.
Party Pod. I know on was it Simmons and Jacoby's podcast that we listened to last year that you got me into.
Yep.
They called it the No Fun Dome.
Yeah.
Is what they called it for last season because
Sure.
it was like a kind of a bubble. I don't know what the shape of this one is, but they got rid of the ugly lighting like they had in the last one where everything was like purple. It's more like black.
I don't know if it's on the premise, the acres or whatever else. It really just looks like if you've been to an all-inclusive resort and it's 1 a.m. on a Wednesday. Well, it was a Tuesday night. Now it's Wednesday, 1:00 in the morning, and no one's still out, but you're looking for another drink, and they're playing club music, but nobody's there.
We had that experience.
That's it. And you're like, well, and you're like, no one's here. Should we just go to the room? And there's like 4 or 5. You're like, no, we came for a drink, so who cares? And then one of your 4 friends decides to start dancing to "Who Let the Dogs Out," and you're like, that makes sense. Yeah.
The college party in Clueless at the end, or like the end of the party when Christian is still dancing. And she's just like sitting on like the speaker with.
Yep, that's exactly it. Yeah, you're like, okay, and then next thing you know, after "Who Let the Dogs Out," it's "I'm an Alien" by Emmy, and you're like, yep, everything makes sense. So that's what I always think of when I see this area. I don't know, they should name it something, and then I can't believe they haven't named it.
Right.
And I can't believe it hasn't been like the Party Pod brought to you by Svedka Vodka. Like, I can't believe they haven't done that yet.
Also, okay, what are they drinking? Because I know in years past they've mentioned, they'd had to put like food coloring in the drinks and stuff, like whatever. I don't think I'm seeing that anymore. Everything is clear. So I don't know if it's just either wine or beer or your options. Because I see people with drinks often and there's no ice. And I'm like, are they like super against ice? So it's got to be just wine, right?
Corey didn't have anything in his drink. More than likely, if he's true to what he said before, he's pretty much, if he knows he's going in, he's not going to have anything tonight. Right. So that could have been water, could have been tap water. Guys, Amanda had a drink, did not have any ice in it. It was clear as well. Amanda's having a drink. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely something in there. Mm-hmm. So
how sucky would that be? Like, because I mean, you have to like do what they say. It's like you're really super tired. You just really don't feel like going to the fucking oopsies, the party pod, and you're like, okay, I have to pretend to be like partying and having a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess that just goes.
But realistically, they're all extroverts.
True.
If they're tired.
Well, yeah, because Fessy's not there anymore.
Yeah, if they're tired, they're not going to be good camera, and the camera's not going to have them in a corner if they're just like, I'm here to do whatever else. Yeah, they have to go. So they're just going to keep going on the people who are out and about doing whatever else. So, I mean, you can kind of tell who's on there and who isn't. And there's, if you want to think about it, it's Team Sapphire because they're barely in the party pod area, if you will.
Right.
So, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, they're extroverts. They're just excited. They want to be in camera. We've talked about this like 2 or 3 episodes ago. Like, God, that's some of the dumbest dancing or some of the dumbest things they do in front of the camera. Like, oh, they're just looking for camera time.
And then I wonder, like, is there actual music?
There has to be, right? I know,
like, what I've seen on things about other shows, other reality shows, is it's too hard to cut around.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So they often don't do music, but then sometimes when they are doing the dancing or whatever, they're playing a song over the top of it, and you just see people dancing. You don't hear anybody talking.
Because there's Emeralds, there's like 6 of them, and they're kind of like, let's say at a table that we're at, and if you're at a club and Devin's on the end, and like Casey's over there a little bit, catty corner, he would be like, huh?
Right.
What?
Right. You can't hear anything in those kind of places.
Yeah, and he'd be like, no, I didn't say that. And she's like, I didn't say your name. He's like,
what'd you say about my mom?
What did you say then? Like, yeah. So there's got to be something going on, like where they're like, hey, everybody leave the party pod, brought to you by Svedka Vodka, and we're just going to have your guys' meeting here, and we're going to cut the music. And then now Ruby comes in and has her, because there's
just
no
they're like,
way.
Okay, all right, guys, dance. 15 minutes, go.
It's got to be.
And then they're like, okay. No music. Now y'all have your talks.
We got to send that into Bananas.
Yeah, I got to know. I got to know.
Because it's not like you see anything like clipped, all right? It's not like they have a mic rolled around. And you would, because even when Josh and Corey are talking, It's pretty good. It's not like there's any dubbing in the background, or it's not like it doesn't sound like there's anything.
There's nothing muffled.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they don't have mic.
They're
or
not
anything.
shouting.
Yeah,
as they would be in a loud.
Why are you yelling at me? Because we're in a club. I can't hear you. I'm not really yelling at you. I just can't hear, so I assume you can't hear either. It's like, I hear fine. Stop yelling at me. So, it's a good question. It's something we should send into Bananas. Like, how does it work?
Yes, I need to know. I need to know.
Yeah, speaking of, what would Bananas do in this episode?
It would have had to have, in regards to switching teams, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. He would have encouraged Corey to do what Corey was already going to do. He would have said, like, what you should do, you should infiltrate that team and do whatever else and take it out. He would have encouraged it hard. He also would have encouraged the
Logan.
argument between, it's not much of an argument, but between Josh and Corey. He would have been instigating the whole time, and he would have been like, yeah, Josh, you do turn on everyone. And what do you mean Logan's your good friend? I thought Devin and you came in, you guys traveled together. Where's Devin at on your list now? And he would have brought Devin in, and then Devin would have been like, don't bring me into this, Bananas. So he would have been right there between the two of them when Corey made him say, like, who's your good friend? And he's like, my good friend was Fessy, and then you. And then he's like, and now I like Logan. And Bananas would have been right there and been like, what happened to Devin? Who's right there? Devin, how does that make you feel that you're fourth on his list now? And but obviously third because Fessy's gone, and that's what I thought he would do. He would have done. Yeah, he would have really got that going
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who lost the episode? It's got to be Corey, right?
Yeah, he made the wrong decision on who to put in the lair.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been Kyle. I know it's like. He's been in the lair. He's done things or whatever, but...
So is Corey.
It's just...
So is Logan. I mean, Manny hasn't been in, but Manny obviously wasn't an option because he won. Manny is getting a spot to the final.
We did call that they were going to
he's a good athlete. He's proven to be, like, very quick, very agile, somewhat strong.
We did call that him and we'll get back to, like, the losing episode, but we did call that he would be making out with Tori.
Oh, yes.
Last week we did.
He's a plumber. He was laying the pipe, snaking the drain.
Listen,
the shower was broken.
Is he a professional dancer who actually is a plumber by day, or are we just doing this?
I want to see that movie.
There's
It's
websites.
like Flashdance.
There's websites
No,
for
not
this.
like that. Like, Flashdance, she was like a welder, but she wanted to be a dancer.
Or was it like tongue in cheek because they're like, oh, yeah, the shower was broken, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was just too much for me where I'm like, this is dumb.
It was a bit much. It was a bit much. Okay, so they were just in Amsterdam, many of them, filming the reunion. And then a lot of them stayed for several days or even up to a week. And so Halloween was over this amount of time. He dressed up like a plumber.
Okay.
So.
Is he a plumber?
And she was a mushroom.
Is he a plumber?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have not really researched his life. I mean, I thought dancer choreographer was.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, his Twitter it's like Emmanuel Dracula. That's like his handle. So he stoops into that. I don't know.
Well, he's just.
But he is pretty darn good, and he's getting a nice. I mean, I think he's a better competitor than Logan. Like, if we're talking rookies.
He's just fine. And fine's not good. Sorry.
But I think, like, next to, like, I think he's better than Josh. I think he's potentially better than Devin.
He's not better than Josh.
You don't think?
He doesn't have a stronger social game or a political game or to build alliances or to think the game through. He's not. He's
politicking.
That's it. But Tori doesn't have a say in that. She has no say in that emerald whatsoever, except for, I really like my team and I hope no one infiltrates it. He's just fine. And this is a good point that I'm going to say. A friend of mine once told me, fine is not good.
Correct.
It is not. She said, if I get dressed to go out at night and I ask my husband, how do I look? And he says, fine. She says, I'm going to lose my mind. Yes. I didn't get all dressed to hear fine. I want to hear this looks good, or I like those shoes, or these shoes go well with it. Mm-hmm. But if you say fine, I'm going to lose it. And if I say someone, you're fine, and if I say to him fine, it's not a compliment in any way. It's like, All right.
Yeah, unless it's you so fine.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you gotta throw that a little further. And that's
But yeah, I'm fine. Oh,
yeah,
that's another
I'm
one.
fine is not good. Yeah,
No, you're not.
yeah, it's you throw in fine or sure. He's like, ugh, and that's what I just like. Fine, all right, and that's what Logan should have done. Logan should have gone to Emerald and take out.
Josh.
Yeah, no,
Well,
not Josh.
because
He should have
they're
taken out Emmanuel because they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't, and that's fine. But back to it. I mean,
It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. That was a fine move. That's exactly the way I feel. Going right back to the word. It's just fine.
I will say, oh, hang on, you were still finishing a thought.
No, it was just we just need to end the thing about Corey. It's just he did lose the episode. He called someone out. He thought he was going to go in there. He told everyone what he was going to do when he come back, and that hurts when you don't come back. And
as he was saying it, I was like, oh, I think I even said to you, I was like, oh, God, you better win.
So the only other thing, I mean, he'll be back again next season. So will Josh, and maybe we'll be like enemies or whatever else, and they're on a team for a bit, and then add to the drama. I don't know.
I'd like another Rivals for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But he says he's coming back with a vengeance. Okay, whatever. And that was my thing about Corey. Yeah.
Where was I going with that? Kyle is not a fish boy.
No.
Not a fish boy.
No.
He was upset that Ashley, he was pulling the ropes the wrong way. She was getting frustrated. And again, there's that struggle with the communication with someone going underwater and your ears are, filled with water and it just wasn't working. And she was getting very frustrated that he was pulling it the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And he's like, she just wants me to keep going under the water. I'm not a fish boy.
Yeah. And Emmanuel does point that out. He's like, she's going to run out of air, and it's not from swimming, it's from yelling at people too much. There is a thing about either one, he did not spend a lot of time under the water, or two, he really enjoyed those goggles because they were at about 17 minutes. He has a tan line. If you see later on in the episode where the goggles were, he's all red. When the lair comes and he's like talking about it, he's like, "Thank you for not calling me in." And when he's talking to CD, you can see the tan line. So he had.
I was wondering what was up with his eyes because he was like super squinty in the chamber, and I'm like, what is going on?
You can see where the goggles were. So either he really wasn't under for that long, or he also kept those on after or before. But he got, and the sun was that time of day. But he got sunburned pretty good on his face. So maybe he really wasn't under there that much. Maybe she's got a point to it. There was one other thing that pointed out, and this is strangely off topic, but it's not. I can't not say it without putting this to bed. Is there anything like this is just like so annoying that you're just like, that would drive me crazy that you see like every once in a while? It might be at someone's house. It might be whatever else day to day. Like, I don't know how they do this. Like, I'm notorious for, like, in my kitchen not closing the cupboards, and people are like, how are you not closing? I'm like, I just forget, maybe it's because I'm short. But there is a scene in there, and I still can't, I have to get this off my chest, and then hopefully I can forget about this. But they're opening up the refrigerator, and I don't know if they're...
It's so messy. The fridge is so messy.
Yes, but there's a bottle of Tabasco.
Okay.
With no lid on it.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
How does that many people lose? I don't care how little that green thing, that lid is. How many people, when you're cleaning, or sweeping, do you not see that and go, that goes on the Tabasco, or you're wiping it down? I don't know why that bothered me so much, but I have to say it out loud.
I get you. Well, remember a couple seasons ago when, like, Jordan, like, lost his mind over, like, there were 2 different containers of peanut butter and neither of them have a lid.
Yeah.
And, everything's messy. And that did kind of take heart to me because it's like, I'm not obsessed with clean, but I really like things tidy.
Yeah.
And, I'm a firm believer on if you do this, pick up after yourself. Like everybody, pitch in.
Yeah.
No big deal. And I think that has kind of been a theme throughout in general that people aren't necessarily that respectful of each other cleaning and things like that. So that would make me insane.
Yeah, absolutely. It belongs somewhere. There's enough of you there. At that point, there's 4, 5, that's 9, 6. There's 15 of you. Someone just put the lid back on there and somewhere when you cleaned, unless it just got kicked around, and that's a good enough excuse. But I don't know why. I was just like, oh my gosh.
It doesn't look as messy as it has before. Like there have been some times when I see the kitchen and I'm like, this is making my skin crawl a little bit.
But they are definitely not without foods. They're fine. It's a stacked refrigerator. They've got plenty of things to do in there. But it was, again, when we talked about it, it was, I think what made the episode fun was it really was a throwback of these personalities that we do know. Nani that only brings a little bit. Casey throws in. Casey will be the rhyme or reason. She's in the chamber and Corey says something. He's like, oh man. Or Nellie said something more and she goes, what were our choices? And you go, Casey's right. They don't really have too much. They know what their choices. Anyone can say these and be like, yes, but here's why we get to these choices. She just will deliver small lines and go. And I think that's each personality was there. CT was quiet, but he does say, hey, don't throw me in. Kyle comes up with a joke here and there. Amanda was Amanda. Ashley says some things in there. So like when I say you have Titanic, it's also a movie reference, Back to the Future. That's what made this enjoyable, this episode, because it was a thing of like the ones we know came through, what we expect out of them.
Absolutely.
It's nice to have the new people and their personalities, but the ones that we know, their personalities, they were the same way they are.
I agree. And I liked the challenge. I enjoyed this challenge. I thought it was a good team. I don't know. What do they call it? It's not a challenge. It's activated. The challenge is activated. I liked that one. I liked the lair. Those are, two that I really liked versus last week. The challenge was like kind of close, but not quite. And someone actually referenced this on their podcast. It's like Angel Cake or something. He's pretty darn good. He said with last week's challenge, it was kind of a relay. So the guys go first with their bag and then the girls go, to continue. But for Sapphire, Kyle was the only one that was successful in getting the bag across. But then when it came to the women from Sapphire, they all seemed to have bags. So it was like the male portion of it really didn't matter, which I had missed that before. And so that didn't really work. It didn't make sense. And then, that terrible lair.
Yeah.
It's like a snooze fest. So I'm really happy that this week was much better.
Loved the challenge. Right away I said, I feel like I could do it. And I don't say that every single time, and it's not like bragging or anything. I'm like, I like this one because I feel like, all right, I'd be able to do it.
And it didn't seem it wasn't too over the top with all of the spy stuff.
No, you didn't have to undo something finally. You didn't have to get a code to undo it.
It was just open it, put it in the thing.
Yeah. Now, the lair I would not have liked to do. Not one bit. I think it would have killed my lower back. I think it would have killed my forearms. It's not that fun. I think I'm fine with balance, but there's no way. It's not. It's one. I'll be honest with anybody if I say like, yeah, I think I could do that one or I couldn't do that one, and even next week's you were right away like, oh no, the challenge or whatever, the activation.
Which one was it?
The one where they're in that cockpit and it goes in the water.
No, that's a nightmare. That is a nightmare.
You said right away. So that's what I'm saying when we're saying this is not like, oh, they just think they can do it. Like we right away recognize like, hey, that, and like
I'm claustrophobic and I don't love water. So being in a plane filling up with water, that's a nightmare. No, thank you. Like a buried alive one. Not into that either.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see that. Right now, I'm on the fence on that one.
Or there was, back in the day, millions of years ago, there was a elimination where I think they were in almost like a coffin or whatever, and then there were like snakes or something.
I'm out.
Or spider. I don't know. Maybe I'm even thinking of Fear Factor. I don't know. But no, thank you. No.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Did you have a cringeworthy moment for the week?
A cringeworthy moment for the week.
I mean, the lay in the pipe.
Yeah, I will tell you this. I've had it now with who are you choosing? And we're going to go down the laundry list of who. First, I'm like, when he goes, Nelly T, nah, just playing. You're my boy. I was like, cute. That made me laugh. But then he starts listing off who he's going to go and who he could. And I was like, that I've had it. I mean, Ed did it. That was a cringeworthy one. And I go, in my head, I was like, it
did kind of drag a little bit.
I've just had it with, here's why. Tell us why you're choosing him. I was like, I've had enough. Just go. I want to get after it. This is the guy I'm going, period. You don't owe anybody an explanation.
Right.
And if that's the case that you think you do, then tell them ahead of time. You're not blindsiding them, any of them, or anything like that. That's to me. I'm like, I've had enough. So, no.
Yeah, I agree. And then just the weird sex thing.
Yeah, that's the cringe way. That wins. You're right.
It's just a little much with the references. Like we get it, and then you're just like beating a dead horse with this like plunger or plumber.
Yeah, it went from the shower to the pipes to the sink, everything else. I'm the plumber. Yeah, that's gonna win because we can't just automatically go to those dumbos talking about why they pick someone, or else we'll do it every other week because the guys will do it. The girls just say like, this person come down. So,
okay, so I do have something that I want to talk about that. It's something that's happened a couple times, and it just was announced. It's a little tea that I saw on social media, and then also this guy Dan commented on our YouTube in regards to it too. So Bettina said that she was pregnant when she was on the show. She didn't know.
Okay.
This is now in 3 seasons, 3 women that have been pregnant on the show.
Yep.
I'm not saying that pregnant women can't do things. There are pregnant women that have run marathons.
Yeah.
However, I think in this case, Bettina didn't know. I think Survivor Natalie found out. Remember, that's when she went home. They said she had some family stuff. That's what it was.
Okay.
So she just bowed out. And then Melissa was like very pregnant and was even in the final pregnant. And it was like bad conditions and stuff. Like it was cold. And I find it to be irresponsible on MTV to not pregnancy test pre the challenge, because it makes me nervous in general. And like I said, okay, so if they are and they still want to do it and they're going to sign the waivers and whatever, and they're going to make accommodations, fine, tell us. But I do not like this. I mean, it just seems so simple. They obviously have to do some sort of a physical.
Yeah.
You know, and I know like on like The Bachelor, they do a physical and they do like STD tests and most likely a pregnancy test. Obviously, they're doing COVID tests.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it's hard, but I need to know more about this. Are they doing pregnancy tests? Are they not? Why?
That's a fine line. It's a lot to do with my body and what you're asking and whatever else.
But it's also, I mean,
there's a risk, 100%,
yes.
and I don't like.
And the liability.
I agree with you.
I wouldn't want that on my conscience.
I'm trying to think
as a producer or whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, I agree with you. I'm trying to think of the contrarian viewpoint of it, of like why they don't do it or why you can't.
Someone did comment that on Twitter. They said, you know, something along the lines of their body. But then like Casey, who was on the challenge before, little cutie pie, she like tweeted, she's like, no, they need to do pregnancy tests, period.
Okay.
You know, so I need more information. Somebody fill me in. What's the deal? What's the situation? Because it just didn't sit right with me. It just didn't sit right with me.
We know we can ask Bananas about what goes on at the Party Pod brought to you by Svedka Vodka. We can ask him about that. But do you think the Anissa Tori podcast, you can ask them something? Do you think, do you think,
maybe.
Is there anybody else that's out there that's basically
Well, I mean, we could even just talk about, you know, what are like the pre-show things? Like, is there a physical?
What tests do they do?
You know,
COVID, physical,
mental
STDs,
health,
yeah,
maybe.
mental,
I don't know.
100%. They have to do that,
right?
They have to check that, but that's part of like your interview process, and then everyone that's on Big Brother does a psychological evaluation,
right?
Somehow they all pass. They're all crazy, but somehow they all pass. Though maybe that's how you pass the Big Brother thing.
I think Vanina said that he's like, they're not quite there, but they're right on the line.
Yeah,
you know. So I don't know. I'm very curious about that. I need more information. So please fill us in if you know. Furthermore, I got a little more tea. Same guy, Dan, helped us out. So CT was not at the reunion because he's filming a movie. This is actually his second movie. So he filmed a movie last year. It was like a horror film.
That's the first thing I was going to say. It's a zombie type of apocalypse thing, yeah.
This one it's a remake of a movie from the 1930s, and I can't remember the title. But the co-star is the guy who was the catcher from Major League.
Tom Berenger?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited for him. That's cool.
That
like, heck yeah.
All right. That's pretty neat.
Right? I know. And like to film right away. Like we're not talking like a guest starring role on like, you know, some TV show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a walk-on role, a cameo. Like this is a role in a movie. Like that's pretty freaking cool.
Look at him.
I know.
Boy's good with
Our
numbers.
Little boy's growing up.
Says he knows how to grill. God, what he was going into, that character was I'm not going to remember the name of it, but it sounded a lot like Andy Kaufman's other version of himself in the movie when he was doing that. Yeah, I know he knows how to grill. And I was like, all right, he's doing a different. He sounded a lot like him, but yeah. So good.
Do you know what his athletic background is? By the way, I found this out not long ago, and it was actually surprising. Like, what college sport do you think he played?
He played. Lacrosse.
Basketball.
That would have been like number 3.
D3 basketball.
Yeah.
You know, because it was in an article.
I think I should have known that from
But
Little Paris.
I would have assumed football.
Yeah, it would have been my second one.
You know, but basketball, I like it. Mm-hmm. Got a little cuter to me, though. You know,
you can hoop. Yeah.
You know. Let's see here. What else? Oh, so allegedly, some more tea. So Ashley didn't go to the reunion either. Mm-hmm. And we'd speculated about like vaccines or whatever. Allegedly, her and Josh get into some altercation in episode 14, which is next episode.
Okay.
And like things are still maybe not right. And that's why she didn't go, allegedly.
I tell you what, yeah, I'm interested now what that's going to be because Josh.
Everybody loves Josh.
Josh can.
No, I mean, like, seriously, like, remember, everybody always talks about it. Even Leroy said on Bananas podcast this week, love Josh. Everybody loves Josh as a person. So if this is hot and this is still going on, then what happened?
Josh can say some pretty hurtful things that cross the line that you shouldn't say to women, but he doesn't go to that point of no return. But he also is not going to apologize. He's done it plenty of times in Big Brother and other things. I'm not going to recklessly speculate, but I'm going to recklessly speculate that he's probably going to say something that is borderline, and he's going to double down and act like it's okay to say these things. He says a lot of things. He has said a lot of things to females that would never come out of my mouth at all, and acts like it's really no big deal. And nobody ever really puts him in his place. So hopefully Ashley does.
If anybody can do it.
All these people, we're going back to that psychological evaluation. All these people that say everyone loves Josh, I question their psychological evaluation. I've seen way too much of this man to realize that he would not be the person I'm like, oh, let's have a beer with that guy. Mm-hmm. Not one bit. The best thing I could do with Josh is to be like, you want to do a shot? And I do a shot of vodka and he do a shot of water. And then I just stare at him and be like, yeah. And walk away. I'm like, sorry about that. And he'd be like, did you just do that? Yeah, I did that on purpose. And that would be about it. I have nothing. I have no time for this guy. Absolutely.
All right, so we'll see what happens with that. There was one other thing. Oh, it's Nellie's birthday. Happy birthday, Nellie.
Yeah.
I hope Gloria made you a cake.
Yeah, I hope he does well. I don't know. There's something about Nelson that, even though he drives me crazy, I think it's just the name. I think I like Nelson. I like the name Nelson. I like the nickname Nelly T that they give that they give him. So, yeah, happy birthday to him. I mean, he's probably like my age, 45.
No.
But he doesn't look it. Yeah.
I think early 30s.
Yeah. He'll be doing this for another 10 years. Same with Corey. Corey, like, right away was like, I'll be back. I'm out. He had no problem. Corey's like,
see you in 3 months.
Yeah. He's like, no, you won't miss me. I'm going to be right back.
I don't think he's taken one off in a while.
No, he's not going to take it. He knows he'll be back. Nelly will be back as well. Devin will be back also. So, yeah.
And then we've got next week starts All Stars.
Okay. Yep.
So we'll obviously have to watch that a day late because you got your Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky thing is on November 11th. That's right.
I've never seen Rocky.
Okay.
I've never told you that, but I'm going to try to make a point to watch it this weekend.
Okay.
I'm going to try.
I'll give you some advice.
Okay.
1 is good.
Mm-hmm.
2 is very...
4 the one everyone loves, right?
Well, yeah, it ended the Cold War.
Yeah. Oh, well, it ended the Cold War.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, my goodness.
It really...
Is that the one with, what's her name?
Don't. Just...
No.
do that.
It is, though, right?
Don't. Just be like, is that the one? Just... 2 is very long. There's only one fight. The unintentional comedy is great in it, but that's one that you can unpack later.
Okay.
3 is great. 4 is phenomenal. We don't talk about 5. Rocky Balboa, and then we go into
Milo Ventimiglia. Is that the one with Rocky Balboa?
Listen to me.
We're not talking about the child.
Thing,
what are we talking about?
Real quick. My thing about Rocky 1, and I've told you this before, it's a way of life or whatever else, but it runs so deep that Milo guy that you referred to, I won't watch a single thing he's in. So I've never seen that This Is Us show. He's in that, right?
Oh, it's so good.
And he was in that Gilmore Girls, right?
Of course, he was Jess.
I will never
Rory's
watch
best
anything
boyfriend.
that this young man is in. I call him this person is in
He's
Rocky,
like almost 40, I think.
This person's in because in Rocky Balboa, he says, like, you cast a big shadow, like he's almost embarrassed that Rocky is his father. And I hold a grudge, and I realize he didn't write the script, but it's enough for me that he took the part. So I don't like him.
You don't like him?
No. But
my husband doesn't like him either, so he was on Heroes. I don't know if you ever watched. Well, of course, you won't watch anything that he's in.
If he was on, I'm turning it off.
He has this thing where he'll kind of talks out of the side of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a birth defect. Like, this man had this birth defect and managed to still become a very successful actor, like top tier, like as far as TV actors right now.
I'll have to take your word for it. I've never seen it.
I don't know that it'd be your cup of tea. It's a little like, we love like One Tree Hill is pretty emotional. Like This Is Us it's a lot. It's very well written, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why we should just stick to the challenge, probably.
Yeah, exactly. One will make you want to watch two.
Okay.
It's just long.
So I got to figure out what streaming service that's on. I got like all of them. So
yeah, I think it's on HBO Max.
No, that's the one I don't have.
No, well, I have a password for it. You let me know.
Hey.
And I have it on DVD and VHS too.
Oh, VHS.
All of them, yeah. Yes, in case you're wondering. So I own them. It's quite all right. So, and then Creed and Creed 2 are wonderful as well. So
all right. Yeah, so that's my homework, and then we'll meet back here next week to see what's going on and see what this beef between Josh and Ashley is.
Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to also watch you cringe while they're being submerged during this challenge activation and everything else. So I like this. I like bouncing back and forth. I do like the ping pong of what we're doing here. And I know maybe some people it's hard for them to follow. But realistically, Sarah, you mentioned it last week. You watched the episode.
Right. We don't need to
go chronological order. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and we pretty much talked about anything that was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, they set the rope on fire.
Yeah, but that was and he even paused and he's like, and the rope before he even said it, he's like, and the rope will be on fire. And TJ landed it just like tempo and everything the way you said it, and the rope will be on fire.
Enough with the fire.
It was perfect. Yeah, and he would just laugh. Like the pyro guys are just fantastic, loving it every minute of it. So
I wonder what their budget is for that kind of stuff.
Well, then he does the horn, and then the flames go up on the side, and I would have been like, what the? You win. You didn't say that was happening. Yeah, I knew they lit it on fire, but out of nowhere, your peripherals, all of a sudden a ball of flame goes up.
Well, it was around them. Yeah.
I would have been like, I'm out. Yeah, but no, it was good.
I was like, assuming you don't fall off in the first 10 seconds, otherwise you go and get burned.
Yeah, I just think going forward, what we saw is the personalities. They're just going to be more. Devin will be more involved here. Tori will do something where she'll finally stick her nose where it doesn't belong, and then Nani will get drunk and get mad about something stupid. So get ready for all that.
Oh, I'm here for it.
That's right.
Well, follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, Instagram, Final Alliance, on YouTube. We are Final Alliance Podcast. Please subscribe and comment. We love to hear your comment or read your comments and see what you have to say, your takes, and help us with the spoilers.
Absolutely. Thanks to Dan for a couple things he wrote there. Yeah,
awesome. Appreciate it. And then on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, we are Final Alliance Podcast.